salon.
It looks really good.
Thank you. It would normally never. I mean, I'm sure you remember, working with me every day. I probably had it up in a bun or something. Had my big headphones on,
Sometimes.
but
Just in time
yeah.
for the live stream, right?
Yeah. Well, hello everyone. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. I am Dawn Zalette. I am a managing director here at Thoughtbot, and I've had the great pleasure of following along mostly with Agnes and Ashley as they went through our incubator program way back in 2023 last year. So yeah, today we're just having a quick chat to talk about what life has been like after the program, and I'm so excited to catch up with y'all. I have a couple of questions, but maybe we can get started with a little reintroduction for both of y'all. Whoever wants to jump in and go first.
Sure,
Yeah.
I can jump in. Oh, go ahead, Ashley, if you'd like.
No, I was gonna say alphabetically, you go.
I was about to echo your point, Dawn, about it feeling like so long ago, and it's only been a matter of months, but I feel like so much has happened. But I've been telling everybody I know about the Thoughtbot Incubator. I had such a great time, learned so much from you, from Jordan, from the entire team. So quick recap, I came into the Thoughtbot Incubator with a concept for a startup serving freelancers and solopreneurs with back office support. So all the things that as a freelancer, you can't charge your clients money for, right? They're essentially a waste of time. Well, not waste of time, but they're, not time that you're earning money. There's a huge opportunity there, right? Freelancers are growing as a market segment, especially within the younger generation, Gen Z. During the incubator, we really honed in on them as people who value the freedom that comes with freelancing and solopreneuring, and don't have the expertise and the work experience to be able to do a lot of the kind of boring stuff that goes along with it. So the marketing, the contracts, the, managing all that stuff on the back end. So I left the incubator with, like a validated concept for it. I wasn't able to get great traction though. So the parts of the business that I feel like I didn't really work out during the incubator were, how to reach these folks. I didn't really want to raise money. That's not the route I wanted to go down. So I can get into that more. I don't know if this is quick enough for an intro, but I guess where I am now, just really quickly, I ended up finding two co-founders for a legal tech startup, CaseBlank, where I'm now the chief operating officer. We use Gen AI and AI agents in legal workflows, specifically in immigration. Really excited about that and happy to tell you more. Over to you, Ashley.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear more about that. That sounds pretty exciting. And anyways, something everybody could probably benefit from. So my name is Ashley Schiebel. I went through the Thoughtbot Incubator also last year, back in the summer. It seems like it was 2 years ago. Time just, I don't know where it went. But anyways, it was a lot of fun. At the time, I was working on a concept for modernizing payments out of 529s, which are tax advantage college savings accounts. There's about $500 billion under management, and they are, sitting in accounts that aren't easy to move funds out of. And so wanted to modernize that experience for millennial Gen Z parents, students, to make the process more seamless and frictionless. I went to a conference the last week of the incubator and actually learned about something called 529A accounts, which are accounts dedicated for people who have disabilities. Certain people can qualify if they've been disabled under the age of 26 and have some other criteria, but the account allows them to save money above and beyond asset limits that are associated with Medicaid or SSI benefits, which unfortunately are set at $2,000, which doesn't provide a lot of opportunity to build an emergency fund or save for expensive healthcare treatments or prescriptions, et cetera. But the accounts allow kind of a workaround for people to be able to accumulate funds, $18,000 a year up to $100,000 total in the account without impacting their benefit eligibility. So anyways, learned about those accounts, also learned that less than 2% of the people eligible for them were actually using them because very low awareness. And then just started pulling at that string a little bit more in terms of how to serve the market, the disabled community, and improve financial inclusion for that particular population. So the last week of an incubator is not the best time to pivot, but I definitely felt like I gained the tools to walk away from the incubator to start the process all over again with a new concept.
Yeah, that's amazing. I remember that point and kind of watching everybody go, okay, let's take the last like 7 weeks of work that we did and like do it again real quick though with this with this new path. That's awesome. So, by the way, we are more than happy to, have your questions or feedback or comments, or just say hi in the comments here. We'll try to bring those into the conversation. But as Agnes indicated, what I really am curious about is to hear a little bit more about your paths since being in the program. Ashley, I know that you've had a big update recently with a new accelerator that you're going to be participating in. So why don't you kick us off by telling us a little bit about that and what's next for AvidFirst?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So I applied to a program called Code Launch in Houston, and I learned about the program from my mentor who had attended one of their finalist events that was, a few months ago in a different city. And he got to know the founder of the company that won that particular accelerator. And she is working on a social impact venture, and so connected us. And so we started talking. She's like, you should just apply for this. And if you win, you get free software development services. I was like, okay, why not? Anyway, so applied and got accepted into the cohort for 2024. But as I was going through some of the processes, I realized it was really stretching me in a good way. I'm not very good at social media. In fact, I'm terrible at it. I'll just put it out there, terrible at it. And so having to check a lot of these boxes for the program has definitely been difficult. And it has definitely been difficult in a very productively good way. And learned that there is so much value in delegating and outsourcing things that you're not good at, but also challenging yourself to do those things too, to understand what the experience is like. So have been working through those sorts of things. I did not make the semifinals. Apparently the market that I'm focusing on is too small for the program. And so that's fine. I have another update I'll share in another week or so, but can't announce that quite yet. And so everything works out exactly the way it's supposed to, and am just excited for continuing progress.
Yeah, that sounds exciting. I can't wait to hear more about what's to come. Agnes, what about you? Maybe tell us a little bit about what happened with Senga and, now your transition over to CaseBlink.
Yeah. So again, as I said before, I just wasn't getting the right kind of traction, I feel like, with Senga. I also looked, I guess, at the next 5-10 years, and for the business that we were sort of shaping for Senga, I think I would have had to be much more of like a community builder and an influencer for the freelancer sort of market. So ultimately, that's not really what I wanted to do. But I'm really excited about my current company. And I will say my other learning from this whole experience is just like having co-founders is such a huge, plus bonus for any startup. You just have, a couple other people dragging you along and pushing you along. And so having co-founders for CaseBlink has been amazing. So with CaseBlink, we started working together 4 months ago. We have a product that's an end-to-end workflow in immigration. These are immigration visas that folks normally, if they go to an attorney, they pay $10,000 to $20,000 for. It takes months and months because law firms usually have a backlog. The specific visa types that we're working with are very writing intensive. So attorneys create like 25-page documents in order to submit them. So it's like a perfect fit for what Gen AI is really good at. And my co-founders are technical co-founders. They come from Google and CVS doing exactly this type of work. And we've actually just been accepted into Entrepreneurs Roundtable Accelerator in New York City. Really excited to be working with them as well. We've been having back-to-back meetings with amazing mentors that they've set us up with. So that's kind of where we're at. Oh, and we're launching next week. So if you're an immigrant, check out our website, caseblink.com, and see if we're the right fit for you.
Agnes, can I ask you a question about just your co-founder matching experience? How did you find your co-founders?
Oh my gosh, it was total kismet. So we found each other through LinkedIn. Our CEO, Khalil, put out a posting for co-founders on there, and we've really hit it off and clicked. And I feel so lucky, that we get to work together. Although I know a lot of folks also use, Y Combinator has a co-founder matching site. So check that out as well if you're looking for a co-founder.
So you met each other on LinkedIn and then just hit it off right away? Or what was that kind of like vetting or dating experience like for your co-founder journey?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we had a lot of in-depth conversations about our working styles, our strengths, what type of company we want to be building, from like the very high and lofty down to the very nitty-gritty sort of things. And I think the three of us have really complementary skills. So that's why it's worked out so well. And we just, I think, like personally really gel well.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing.
Ashley, is that something that's a part of what you're hoping for with AvidFirst going forward?
Yeah, I think the more that I am moving along, I've learned that probably getting somebody who is technical on the founding team would be important. I know there are opportunities to outsource, but there's pros and cons to both options. I think that making sure that somebody is equally as passionate about the problem you're working to solve is critical. And I don't know, I think, Agnes, too, maybe you felt this way as a solopreneur with Senga, but there's just like this feeling of ownership that you want to just like protect the integrity of the progress or idea or whatever. But at the end of the day, I also learned through the thought process that groupthink, like just being in your own head, could be a problem, and you need differing ideas and differing viewpoints to make sure that you're approaching a problem from all angles, or from at least different viewpoints where maybe there's something that you personally are missing that other people find very obvious, and making sure that that's being considered is really important. So yes, I'm thinking about bringing on a co-founder. Several mentors and investors have said that would be important to do. So yes, thinking through that process.
Well, if there are any technical co-founders out there who are really passionate about Ashley's idea, maybe let us know.
Yeah.
We can sync y'all, connect y'all, and kind of sync up about opportunities there. So having other sort of product experts to collaborate with and group think, some of the ideas and concepts and sort of test those things out sounds like it was a great part of being a part of the program. What other things have y'all taken away from the experience in the incubator that are serving you now, or that you're able to like incorporate and sort of continuously like bring into the work that you're doing?
I mean, I think it's what Ashley mentioned about her pivot is, you go through, once you learn the moves and the techniques and the tools in your toolbox to be able to do great customer discovery, to be able to do, data-driven decision making, basically at the very earliest stage of a startup, you keep going back to that and you reuse those tools and those techniques again and again. I mean, we're doing exactly that at CaseBlink now. I'm using the ThoughtBot playbook basically that I learned from y'all to learn about our customers now. So I think that's my biggest learning or biggest takeaway is this is something that you do at any startup that you're at. And not only that, you continue to do it day after day, even when the business has matured. Because when you lose touch with your customers, when you lose touch with, what they're thinking and doing on a day-to-day basis, that's when the business really suffers.
Yeah, I would echo what Agnes said. That was probably the most important takeaway. I think for me too, just starting with a new idea and getting feedback from potential users and other stakeholders was really good, and being methodical about it. Because before I came into the incubator, I was just asking questions like in a natural conversational way. I wasn't being intentional around, okay, I need to ask these questions and I need to make sure I'm not adding in my own bias so that they're answering the question the way that I hope they'll answer the question, even though they may not actually want to answer it that way. They have no choice because I've said it in this particular fashion. So that was really important because I've learned a lot. A lot of the things that I assumed were just, a fact aren't actually a fact. And making sure that you vet out all those assumptions, put them on a table, test out, the possibilities, and then make sure that you're tracking all the data so that you can go back and, like Agnes said, make decisions based on data versus emotions. Because sometimes the way you think about a problem or the way you think about a potential solution is like, oh, this is definitely the way that people want me to solve this thing. And you look at the data, it's like, actually that ranked last or second to last. And so I think being really methodical and data-driven has been something I took away from that.
I love it. Well, what else is going on that you could use some support in, or has been kind of on your mind that I'm sure it feels different now that you don't have that team to go to literally in Slack or in your daily sync and sort of bounce the different ideas off of. Is there anything that's been on your mind lately that we could chat through while we're here?
That's a tough question because when I have questions nowadays, I still go back to Jordan and the ThoughtBot team and the Slack channel that we're still in to consult y'all. So it has been really great having that resource to bounce ideas off of and just reality check, ideas and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I would agree. It's nice to be able to get together and just bounce ideas off of people who know you pretty well. You spent 8 weeks together, just meeting multiple times a day or, talking late or whatever. Actually got to meet Jordan in Boston when I was there. Gosh, I don't remember when that was. It was in 2023 at some point. But it was really nice to be able to meet up with her and meet her in person. And also just to stay in touch, to have that open line of communication with the team. I think for me, trying to think through partnerships right now is a little bit of a challenge, especially in the social impact space, trying to figure out the best way to approach potential partners, and also thinking through the fintech component as well. So still working in the fintech realm, and just with some of the stringent rules, which definitely should be in place, just making sure that I'm operating in a way that is, completely above bar, but also adds value, and also, considers the fact that I'm very early stage. A lot of the companies that I've talked to are like, oh, you need to be farther along before this or that. And it's like, well, but I need this or that before I can be farther along. So it's kind of like a catch-22 in some ways. So that's probably where I need a little support.
Connecting with potential partners, maybe through other channels that you've already tried, like conferences and things like that? Or is there something else you have in mind for this year?
Yeah, I think for me, just banking as a service partner specifically is something that I've kind of hit a wall not hit a wall, but just need to get a little bit more creative, I think, in terms of MVP and getting something to market in the fintech space with a payment product.
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely worked at a very early stage with fintech products in the past, and totally understand that's the sort of constant grappling with like some of the things that are really important around compliance and security and all of that and regulatory stuff, like you're saying, but also still needing to be able to work fast and to deliver value to, that really focused, like, customer segment. There's thankfully, and I mean, I'm thinking of like products that we've worked on even in the past couple of years. The industry continues to grow. There continue to be new tools that you can utilize to, set up a product quickly and continue testing it like in the market. And so totally understand why your head too is around like wanting to find a technical co-founder and be able to continue making progress and pushing things a little bit further as you learn, about all the other aspects as well on the business side.
Oh, definitely. Agnes, what about you? Are you running into any sort of hurdles that you've been jumping over?
I mean, legal tech space, I think, is similar to fintech in that there's a lot of boxes to check, a lot of like security requirements. Specifically with legal tech aimed at consumers, you have to make sure that you're not venturing into the realm of unauthorized practice of law. So we've had to think about strategic ways of working with attorneys to check the work product in a very like low touch but sort of high impact kind of way. So yeah, a lot of that for us as well. That's been leading up to, the launch that we have coming up. But all fingers crossed, we have, I think, a pretty good way that we've ironed it out.
Y'all will definitely have to keep us posted on the launch and, this next phase for you, Ashley, around the accelerator or any other programs that you're looking at. So we do have another session coming up. Our first session of 2024, we actually have applications open right now for founders who have new product ideas that they want to work on, validate, research through the Incubator program. I think maybe you're hearing it first now, but we're extending the application window to next week. We're extending it by 1 week. So while they were going to close, the deadline to apply was going to be this Friday, we're going to extend that to next Friday, try to get some more folks in. So with that said, do either of you have any words of wisdom to share, or encouraging words to share for people who might be thinking about it or questioning the whole idea of being a founder and wanting to, potentially pursue new product ideas?
I mean, it's definitely a challenging path, but I think I've said this before, if you have an idea in mind and you're sort of at that stage of, oh gosh, there's a million different directions I could go in and want to do it in a sort of smart way, I think the ThoughtBot Incubator is sort of the perfect thing for that because the team that you get keep you accountable, give you structure to make big decisions for your business moving forward, validate those ideas and those concepts in a really like quick kind of way. And I think, the value that you get out of it in 8 weeks is so much more than, the number of days that are in that short amount of time. So that's my plug.
Yeah, I would also say too, and Agnes, maybe you can weigh in on this, being a female, non-technical solo founder is not generally what accelerators are hoping for when somebody applies. And so this was really an amazing opportunity for me to bring the idea that I have been thinking about and vet it out a little more thoroughly. And it has definitely opened other doors as a result. It's given me the tools to think about a different product that I wasn't thinking about initially. And I don't know if I would have thought about it had I not gone through this process, to be quite honest with you. And it also just gave me some new connections. It also gave me the confidence that, okay, I know what I'm doing. I know how to test certain things that I didn't know how to test before. And also just a little bit more credibility too. When you put that, hey, I've gone through this program on your resume or your application to something else, I think that carries a lot of weight, that you're not just writing your idea on a napkin. You've actually gone through the process of vetting it out and working with experts to develop your product even further.
Well, I know that the teams had, it was an honor for them to be able to work with y'all too. And of course, it's a learning experience for everybody who goes through the program. So, in terms of credibility, everybody here should definitely be following Agnes and Ashley on LinkedIn and keeping up um, with progress that you're making with your current startups, and what's to come, because just from the work that I saw and the commitment that I saw to really like going through the process and experimenting and being open to like learning new things, it was that made such, I think, a great experience both for y'all and our teams, because you know like you were saying before, Ashley, it's hard to like give up some of that ownership and share the responsibility, and that can be scary for a lot of different reasons. But I think in the end, it's sort of better for everybody, right?
Agreed. And I think it's interesting that we both pivoted too. We came in with a totally different idea than what we're working on now. But I would say, I mean, I'm more excited about the concept I'm working on now versus the one I came in working on. Not to say that that wasn't amazing too, but I just feel a lot more passionate about this one. So I think going through that process was really part of the journey to get to this idea. So I don't know if you feel that way as well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's the whole point, right? Is you have to make smart decisions. And if the evidence and if the world is telling you should be going in a certain direction, then it's really hard to swim upstream, or whatever the expression is, against that. Not to say that you can't, but I think the whole point of an incubator like this is to find, in a way, the path of least resistance for the concept that you have, for the idea you have, or the community you want to serve.
Don, what are you looking for when you're thinking about, reviewing the different applicants? What do you look for?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, we kind of joked about it after, Agnes, you were our first founder, who participated in the program officially. We had obviously worked with plenty of founders previously, in our consulting business, but we were like, man, she really set the bar high. It's going to be hard to get anybody who's just great to work with. And then Ashley comes along. So I think, some of the things that we already talked about, it's important, I think, for founders to have a really strong vision. But it's also important to be, willing to be experimental and test, like rigorously test um, your assumptions and your idea in a way that gets you closer to making something that's going to be valuable to you and to the world. And there's that dynamic, it's a little bit hard to put your finger on, but you can really get it from talking to founders and kind of asking questions and talking through their process, and the way that they express willingness to like what if you invalidate like one of the paths that you thought was for sure going to be the one that sort of set you on a trajectory of success? Like, what if that's invalidated and you have to pivot? Like, what do you do in those circumstances? And those kind of questions really help you kind of suss out, like, their willingness to do what it takes to do that continuous discovery and to make those pivots and to iterate in a way that's gonna help them in the long term reach that overall vision, even if it looks a little bit different in the end than they had expected. I mean, that's a really heady way of like explaining this. It's like, of course, we have like, criteria that we work with to make sure that it's a good fit overall. But yeah, I think some of the dynamics that y'all already pointed out around willingness to test and experiment and pivot when necessary, and really like listening to customers and working that into your vision, I think is a big component of success, success for founders.
Yeah, I think
Are there
Jordan.
any?
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask, were there any industries that you're kind of looking out for right now? Are you looking for AI or any certain industries, or are you looking for anything?
Yeah. So we're open. We don't sort of, at least for right now, we're not targeting a very specific industry. Obviously, as we're evaluating the right fit, we look at things like industry, market opportunity, like stuff like that, when we're making a decision about who we're going to invest in. And we have, with our experience and what we know about the market and different industry challenges, that kind of goes into that as we're making that decision. We definitely are interested in, g- participating in the growth of AI and products um, across many industries right now. And so we're, looking out for opportunities to maybe do that for one of our sessions this year. Um, but no, industry specific session, at least not right now. We'll definitely, like, as those ideas develop, we'll talk about it online so that people who are, working in climate tech or ed tech or fintech specifically can definitely reach out and talk to us about the program. I mean, we definitely have other like business development initiatives within Thoughtbot to focus on, fintech or age tech specifically. But the incubator has been a really great place for us to be able to continue honing our expertise at this stage, and get to be a little bit more industry agnostic, if you will. But as you know, focus is never a bad thing. So so stay tuned. Agnes, did you have another comment? I think y'all maybe.
Just that I feel like from what I'm taking away from like the last year of working in startup world, working with various incubators, accelerators, being around others working in this space, is it's just such an exciting time to be working at and with a startup or being a founder. I think the bar has been lowered in so many ways to becoming a founder. Obviously, there's still inequities that make it hard for some to become founders more than others. But it's just like there's so many cool ideas, so many cool startups around. And I would encourage anybody thinking about it to take the plunge.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
I would encourage anybody thinking about it too. Just even if you're on the fence, just do it. What's the risk? What's the downside to just applying, see if maybe you're a good fit, and getting on the journey that ThoughtBot can take you on, because there are so many experts who have maybe the skill set you're looking for or lacking, or maybe the knowledge that is missing from your ability to generate a good solution. So I would just say go for it.
Yeah, agreed. And it's the first step, if you haven't taken the step before, and just literally telling somebody else about your idea And like, once it sort of comes out of your brain and out of your mouth and like people are responding to it and asking you questions, that's how you really sort of understand what the opportunity is like meaning for you. Or, when you have to sort of talk about the research that you've done, you really um you have to work to understand it and really talk about it with some level of conviction. And so it's good practice no matter what, even if you don't end up getting accepted into this session or this program, whatever it is that you're looking to do. It's, I think, very good practice for founders to apply. Awesome. Well, any other plugs for things going on at AvidFirst or CaseBlink?
I would just say stay tuned and follow along. And if anybody is interested in being a technical co-founder, let's chat. Again, just focused on social impact and financial inclusion for people with disabilities to optimize health and wealth for that community. So, connect with BotBot or me directly. Would love to chat with anybody who's interested.
And we're launching in the next week. So if you're an immigrant or an immigration attorney and want to get a demo or an early bird discount for one of our products, definitely check out caseblink.com or email me at agnes@caseblink.com. And if you're an attorney interested in any flavor of AI or just curious about it, I would also love to talk to you. We're thinking about where else we're going to expand to. So stay tuned for more on that.
Awesome. Well, it was so great catching up with y'all, and I'm so happy, honestly, to hear about the success that you're having, even if the path looks like totally different than what we expected when we were first working together. I think that certainly does it, that's has nothing to do with whether or not you were successful. In fact, I think like it shows great success that you were able to make these pivots and like really go in a direction you feel confident about. So yeah, thanks for sharing, and always reach out to us if you ever need anything. And everyone who's tuned in, thank you for joining. Feel free to leave comments. Go follow Ashley and Agnes and reach out to them directly. Yeah, it's been great.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dawn.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.